Necati Arabaci, known by the nickname Nico and sometimes the godfather of Cologne, is one of the most infamous figures in the Hells Angels motorcycle club. Born on February 14, 1972, in Cologne, Germany, to Turkish immigrant parents, Arabaci has lived a life filled with crime, power plays, and dramatic run-ins with law enforcement. His story is interconnected with the Hells Angels' European operations, revealing the shadowy world of outlaw biker gangs, international crime, and complicated legal battles. Let's explore the full story of this controversial leader, his rise, and his current status. Hells Angels, more than just a biker club. Before exploring Arabaci's story, it's important to understand the world of the Hells Angels. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club is more than just a group of motorcycle enthusiasts. Founded in California in 1948, it has grown into a global network with around 6,000 members in 32 countries. In Germany, there are about 650 full members. To become a Hells Angel, one must own a Harley-Davidson, be over 21, and often have a history with crime, something that is almost seen as a ritual of entry. This exclusive club is famous for illegal activities like drug trafficking, human trafficking, and extortion. The Hells Angels structure is highly organized, with each chapter led by powerful figures who enforce strict codes of loyalty. This structure has allowed the club to expand globally, often clashing with rival gangs like the Bandidos and Satudara Motorcycle Club over territory and influence. The rise of Neko, from bouncer to boss. Necati Arabaci's early life was rooted in the rough streets of Cologne. His parents had migrated from Konya, Turkey, seeking better opportunities, but Arabaci soon found his path in the darker corners of society. Starting as a bouncer in Cologne's nightclub scene during the 1990s, he quickly rose through the ranks due to his tough personality and ability to control others. It wasn't long before he began managing bouncers working in various establishments, using his growing influence to take over the city's red light district. The red light district of Cologne, with its brothels and nightclubs, was a goldmine for those who could dominate it. Arabaci's operations included running brothels like the Babylon brothel in Elsdorf and others in Leverkusen, Mallorca, and later, even Germany's Augsburg. His control extended through frontmen, allowing him to collect profits while keeping his hands clean. By 1999, he had become a central figure in Cologne's underworld, known for his ruthless tactics and connections to the Hells Angels. As a Hells Angels member, he used the club's reputation and muscle to solidify his dominance, making sure competitors stayed out of his territory. But his expanding empire also brought him many enemies and attracted the attention of law enforcement. Law catches up, arrest and imprisonment. Arabaci's rise in the criminal world faced a significant difficulty in 2002. A special police task force, led by Chief Prosecutor Jürgen Worten, finally arrested him, charging him with leading a criminal organization, human trafficking, armed robbery, and pimping. These charges were the result of years of police surveillance and investigation into his activities. In 2004, he was convicted and sentenced to 9 years in prison. But even behind bars, Nico remained a dangerous man. During his imprisonment, Arabaci continued to hustle influence over his businesses, reportedly still controlling brothels like the Colosseum in Augsburg. His involvement in these operations while in jail shows the depth of his network and the loyalty of his associates. In a dramatic twist, Arabaci allegedly planned to assassinate Chief Prosecutor Worten, hiring an Albanian hitman from Duisburg. The police, however, stopped the plan by bugging Arabaci's prison visitor room. These tracked conversations revealed the extent of his continued involvement in criminal activities, even from behind bars. However, a procedure error, a mistranslation in the trial transcripts, led to a partial dismissal, and in 2007, he was deported to Turkey after serving a part of his sentence. New beginnings in Turkey. Expanding the empire. Under the agreement that he would not return to Germany, Arabaci was expected to fade from Germany's criminal scene. Instead, he used his new location as a base to extend his influence even further. Settling in Izmir, he quickly became a major figure in the Hells Angels Nomads Turkey chapter. From Turkey, he continued to pull strings, using his position to coordinate criminal activities back into Germany and other parts of Europe. Reports suggest that Arabaci expanded his network into the drug trade, monitoring the smuggling of heroin and other narcotics into Europe. He also maintained control over various brothels across Europe, relying on his connections and a network of middlemen to handle day-to-day operations. Turkish law enforcement kept a close eye on him, but his position as a Turkish citizen made him difficult to extradite, providing a layer of protection from European authorities. Rumors of European leadership. By the early 2010s, theories grew that Arabaci might take on a larger role within the Hells Angels' European operations. This speculation came after the arrest of another powerful figure, Frank Hainbuth, who had been a central figure in the Hells Angels' European activities. With Hainbuth out of the picture, Arabaci was rumored to be positioning himself as the new leader of the Hells Angels in Europe, directing operations from Turkey. Investigators in Spain, Germany, and other countries believed that Arabaci continued to run criminal activities through the Hells Angels network. Despite being physically distant from Germany, he was still able to control aspects of the red light districts in Cologne and other cities, thanks to loyal members who managed his interests on the ground. Conflict and alliances with rival gangs. As Arabaci's influence grew, so did the tensions between the Hells Angels and other biker gangs like the Satudara MC. These rivalries often broke out into violence as the gangs fought for control over profitable territories in Germany's Ruhr region and beyond. Despite the constant threat of violence, Arabaci showed a knack for diplomacy within the criminal world. Reports suggested that he approved alliances with other gangs, such as the United Tribunes, to strengthen his position against rivals. This ability to navigate both alliances and conflicts helped Arabaci maintain his power in the face of challenges, but it also kept law enforcement's focus on him. In 2015, Spanish authorities issued a European Union-wide arrest warrant against him, accusing him of extortion, drug trafficking, and human trafficking. Yet, Turkey's policy of not extraditing its own citizens allowed him to avoid facing trial in other countries. Arrests, releases, and continuing influence. Arabaci's encounters with the law didn't stop after moving to Turkey. In June 2018, he was arrested again by Turkish authorities but was released just a few months later due to insufficient evidence. In July 2020, he faced another arrest, only to be released once more after a few weeks in pre-trial detention. These repeated arrests and releases highlighted the difficulty law enforcement faced in bringing charges that would stick against a figure as well-connected and mysterious as Arabaci. Now in his early 50s, Arabaci's role has shifted from a street-level operator to a more strategic position. Though he may no longer be involved in day-to-day criminal operations, he is believed to still wield influence behind the scenes, using his experience and networks to maintain a position in the biker world. Life in the shadows, a changing strategy. Today, Necati Arabaci lives in Turkey, far from the red light districts of Cologne, where his criminal empire began. Despite living a more discreet life, he remains a subject of fascination and concern for law enforcement across Europe. It's believed that he may be trying to legitimize some of his business ventures as a way to distance himself from his criminal past. However, those who know his history believe that his ties to organized crime are not completely cut off. Arabaci's life has become more about managing his legacy than expanding his empire. He is rumored to still have influence over the Hells Angels operations in Turkey and connections to other criminal networks across Europe. Even though he's not on the front lines anymore, his name carries weight, and his decisions can still affect the Hells Angels and their operations across the continent. Legacy of a notorious leader. Necati Arabaci's story is one of toughness, brutality, and crime. From the rough streets of Cologne to the distant safety of Turkey, he has managed to maintain a stronghold in the shadowy world of outlaw biker gangs. His rise and survival in the violent world of the Hells Angels reveal the power of reputation, loyalty, and strategic thinking in the world of organized crime. While many of his colleagues have fallen to law enforcement or gang wars, Arabaci has managed to stay relevant, adapting to changing circumstances and leveraging his connections to stay out of prison. His legacy within the Hells Angels is a mix of fear, respect, and notoriety. While law enforcement sees him as a dangerous figure who has escaped justice too many times, some in the biker world see him as a symbol of rebellion and survival. For many in the Hells Angels and other outlaw circles, he embodies the ability to outsmart the system, turning deportation and imprisonment into opportunities to expand his influence. For law enforcement and the public, however, he remains a reminder of the ongoing challenges in tackling organized crime across borders. Arabaci's story isn't over. Whether his later years are marked by continued influence in the shadows or attempts to stay under the radar, his life serves as a dramatic example of the complexities of the criminal world. His ability to navigate through different countries, manage alliances and rivalries, and escape long-term imprisonment has cemented his place in the records of European organized crime. Even as he steps back from the spotlight, his legacy remains an alarming tale about the reach and adaptability of the world's most notorious biker gang, the Hells Angels.